Hey everybody, it's Kelly. I'm back today with a new Life Crafted process video for my Thursday 3 album. Today I went through my stash and I found products from the Pink Paislee Paige Evans Whimsical Collection, and I went ahead and fussy cut out all of these hexagons from a pattern paper. I've just positioned them randomly around the background, and the background is another pattern paper from that same collection. I just trimmed it down to fit inside my Life Crafted album. I didn't want to fill up the whole background with these hexagons. I just wanted them to add a little bit of color, and I'm also going to add some texture using my edge distressing tool. I'm just going along there and tearing the edge of the paper, and then I'm also going to come in with my sewing machine and add some stitching to each one of those. And now that I have all of those stitched down, I'm going to move on to the embellishments. And I still have quite a bit left from this collection. I have some chipboard, the sticker book, these rub-ons, which surprisingly still worked great. I wasn't sure if they would be dried out at this point. I'm sure you have all had rub-ons that have been in your stash for a while, and when you go to use them, they will not transfer onto paper. But these went on like they were brand new. It was perfect. So I started working on the embellishing, and then I remembered that I wanted to add some type journaling on the right hand side of this spread. And it's funny because with scrapbooking, journaling is the very last thing that I think about, but in my project life, it's the very first thing I think about. So I have to get that mentality switched over on getting these pages planned out a little bit better. So I went ahead and added a couple more rub-ons before I realized that I want to run this through my typewriter. So thankfully I didn't have anything stuck down with liquid adhesive or anything that I had to worry about tearing the paper. I just pulled that floral sticker off of the right hand side, and because those hexagons were stitched down, they went through my typewriter just fine. I knew I wanted to stamp the title before I added the journaling, so that way I knew that I had enough room for the title. And I'm going to use the stamp set from Studio Calico. It's a All About Me stamp set. There are lots of different phrases and things in there that are perfect for documenting yourself. So I grabbed the About Me, and I'm just going to use some black ink, and I'm going to stamp it directly underneath the hexagons on the right hand side of the spread. Now that I have that done, I can go ahead and get the journaling added, and I'm just bringing that floral back in, and I do end up trimming it a little bit so I can butt it directly up against that green hexagon. I leave a lot of the fussing with this layout in this video. I think sometimes it's good to see that there are a lot of things that don't work. There are a lot of things that do work. And I just bring in a lot of embellishments, just trying to get the balance right and to get the areas of the layout filled out that I want to fill out. I really struggle on the left-hand side of the spread. At the top, I feel like it's really empty, and that is something I try a lot of different things over there. But right now I'm still just going in, adding more rub-ons. I'm trying to balance things between the left and the right-hand side. When I was placing those hexagons, I wanted to keep the main focus on the left-hand side towards the bottom and on the right-hand side towards the top. It just adds a lot of balance to the layout, having the colors distributed like that, almost in a diagonal fashion. I'm still just bringing in more rub-ons. I wanted to use as many of these as I could because I wanted to get them used up. I'm not sure how long they will last in my stash. I was, like I said, pleasantly surprised that they still worked at this point. So I want to get as many on this layout as possible. After I shared my first spread of this album, I started to get a little self-conscious about creating an album that is full of just selfies of me. And that's not normally like me. And when I say that, what I mean is I'm 100% in agreement and definitely think that you should document yourself in your scrapbooking, that it shouldn't be all about your family or your kids or your pets or whoever you're documenting, that you need to get yourself in there. But I don't know, there was just something about having an entire book that was just full of pictures of me that made me feel just a little almost vain, which again, I know that that's silly, but it was something that I kind of struggled with a little bit. But then as I was thinking about it and I was chatting with a friend, I mentioned that I would absolutely love to have an album like this that my grandma made or that my mom made when she was my age, just to see snippets of their life from every week and to see photos of them each week and just how things changed and things progressed, and just moments of their life, I think that that would just be such a treasure. So I'm hoping at some point someone in my family will find this album and think of it in a similar fashion. And I'm not opposed to my son throwing away all of these scrapbooks when he gets older. If it's something that he wants to keep, great. If he doesn't, that's fine too. But I think that some of my scrapbooking projects may be something that he wants to hold on to. And this might be one of them where he gets an insight into my life and into things that are happening to me each week. So now I'm trying to figure out how I want to bulk up that left-hand side of the spread up towards the top. I thought about maybe moving my photo all the way up to the top, but then it didn't feel balanced. So I'm working on building some layers, trying to figure out maybe if I add enough color behind the photo or enough embellishing behind the photo that it will just add enough to fill out that part of the spread. So I'm still just working on trying to figure out what I want to do here. And let me know in the comments below if you enjoy seeing this part where I'm kind of fussing around with the different layers and trying to figure out what I want to do, or if you prefer a more streamlined process where I kind of skip over all of this, where I don't want to say struggling, but where I'm having a hard time figuring out what I want to do and just kind of get from point A to point B without showing the stuff that happens in the middle. I would love to know. That helps me in figuring out what I should edit out of my videos when I'm making these. I'm playing a lot with pattern paper, just trying to see what's going to work. I took one of the strips from the top of the 6x6 paper pad and added it to the left-hand side of the photo. I thought it almost looked like washi strips, and I liked that there. And I liked the pattern so much that I thought about using the actual pattern paper as a layer behind the photo, but it was just too busy. So I'm going to end up removing that. And I'm still playing around with embellishments as well, just trying to figure out what's going to work well, what's not going to work well, how much room I have to play with things. This is a brand new size for me to work in. I've only created one other spread in this size album, and it definitely takes some time to get a groove and a flow going when you're working with a new paper size and a new album size. Like I mentioned in my last video, all of these pages are going to be outside the page protector in this album, so I love to add as much texture as possible. So I really wanted to add one of these tassel paper clips, but I just couldn't figure out a place to make it work, so I ended up deciding just to forget that idea. Then I went into my die cut floral pack, and I ended up finding a floral that works really well on that left-hand side. It adds some color, but it also blends in nicely with the hexagons on the background. So I thought that that worked a little bit better than those strips of paper that I had back there, the ones that look like the washi strips. Here I am still trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do. So I shifted the photo back up to the top of the spread to see if I'm going to end up liking it there. I decided to add another rub-on, a butterfly rub-on on the left-hand side. I had two butterflies on the right, so that addition of the third one made a nice visual triangle there. And again, still just shifting things around, still trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do. I decided to beef up that area on the left-hand side of the photo with some die-cut leaves. It brings in some more green and just more texture, more color. Just, I like how that looks. And I am going to use that banner embellishment piece. It's a chipboard piece. I'm going to position that underneath the photo. I thought about adding a second one in there, but I felt like it was not necessary. It was just something that was adding a little bit too much distraction. So I'm trying to decide between that orange color and the pink color because I do know I only want to use one banner there. I'm going back into the sticker book and pulling out some more of the floral stickers just to add more color and again to help create some visual triangles. So I'm going to add a flower next to both of those butterflies on the right hand side of the page. I'm also adding in some little leaf sprigs just for, again, more color, more texture, and just to help fill in those areas a little bit more. I'm going to add some vellum behind the photo as well, and I did leave the right hand side of the photo on my layers there. They are torn. I like that texture that it brings in, and I ultimately decide to add another hexagon to the top of the layout. I played off camera a little bit and filled in the entire page with hexagons, just kind of laid them out, but it was way too busy. But I think adding that yellow hexagon at the top, it is almost the same color as the background, but it just adds something up there and it kind of continues on with the theme of the design. So I'm happy with that. I finally decided on what I was going to do there. And now I'm just working on getting everything adhered down. Because these are outside the page protector, I am using liquid adhesive whenever possible just to make sure that things will stay stuck. I do also like to add stitching when possible. That was part of the reason why I stitched down all of the hexagons. I like the texture it brings in, but it also is 100% secure. Those definitely are not going anywhere. I pretty much have everything adhered down now. I am adding in just a few more flowers here and there, and I wanted to add another pop of color around the photo. So I grabbed this scallop sticker and I thought about adding it at the top, but I have that bronze scallop on the right hand side of the photo. So I decided just to add that second colorful scallop right next to that, just for an additional pop of color. And because I already have the one scallop there, it just matches really well. I'm going to go back through the sticker book again to find one more flower to put next to the butterfly. That's at the bottom of the right hand side of the spread. Just again, to create a visual triangle. I have flowers kind of clustered around all the other butterflies, so it just helps your eye move around the spread. And I am going to add another leaf sprig with that flower. I'm going to switch around a couple of the leaves that I have. I was limited on how many leaves I had in that sticker book, so I was trying to make them coordinate with the size of the flower. So once I have that adhered down, the spread is done. I am bringing in some still shots here so you can see everything in a little bit more detail. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did here. I will try to include links to anything that is still available in the description box below, so make sure you check there if you're interested in any of these things. And please, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. That is how I know that these videos are being enjoyed and that it is something I should continue to invest my time in and create more of these. So I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will be back again on Friday with a new Project Life spread.